Welcome to episode 8 of the NWA Flashback series. JJ, you and I, because Lissy took a detour in the week. I think she had more important things to do. We've been watching the build of the Starcade 85, but we've been building to Magnum and Tully Blanchard having this big I Quit match at Starcade. We've seen Starcade now. Magnum's come out victorious. What are you looking forward to for this episode?
I guess it's just the fallout from Starcade. Obviously, a massive show, lots of new champions knocking about. There was some controversy in the Ric Flair and in the Ric Flair Dusty Rhodes match. So seeing the fallout from that, and I guess it's sort of the reset button's been hit, start of a new sort of era. So let's see what Ric Flair's got to say today.
Mid-Atlantic episode, December 14, 1985. On the network, it's Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling 99369. I think I'm Dr. Brickberg for a second. Listen, if you're watching on the Peacock, what should people click?
Okay, for the Cock users, season 13, episode 50 of Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling.
Then click play in 3, 2, 1. And we have the Rock and Roll Express. Listen, what this era, what are you most familiar with, fondness with? When you look on this era, 85, 86 Crockett, what do you think of? Well,
I think for me, you guys know I love tag team wrestling, so it's nice to be able to see a lot more of that in this period than any other time in wrestling, I think.
We've got here actually Ricky and Robert, the Rock and Roll Express. That was them at Starcade for the tag belts. We've got the first famous intro in
wrestling fans, welcome to Mid-Atlantic, the most exciting hour in television. And we got a program in store for you this week. As we promised you last week, our special Starcade 85 together. We'll be having that for you during this hour. Also, as a result of Starcade 85, we have a lot of new champions. We'll be meeting and we'll be talking to some of those champions as well as watching them in action also during this hour. Also, we'll be talking with Nature Boy Ric Flair and Tommy Young, who 5 times has been voted the NWA Referee of the Year. That and much, much more during this hour. Speaking of champions, a champion right here. Let me introduce this young man to you this way. The new United States Heavyweight Champion, Magnum TA. Magnum, a pleasure.
Thank you very much. You know, the whole wrestling world has followed me through some very tough times the last few months. And I had to go through the most brutal match of my life, the I Quit match with Tully Blanchard, to once again attain the United States Heavyweight Championship. Well, that's all behind me now. We're in the midst of a lot of exciting things right now. The Bunkhouse Stampede is now taking place, and that's the wildest, wooliest match anybody's ever wanted to take part in. As for me, I've got my goals set on a lot of things, but the most important thing is defending the United States Heavyweight title against all the top competition in the world today. I know Tully Blanchard's out there. I know he wants another shot. The Buddy Landells, the Ivan Koloff, Nikita Koloff, Crusher Khrushchev, the Andersons, all those people would like to attain the United States Heavyweight Championship. And what I'm saying to all those people out there, anybody that wants a shot at this doesn't have to look too far, because I am Magnum TA, United States Heavyweight Champion. I fought real hard to get this. I'm proud of the way I came to attain it, because that's the way it had to be done. And anybody that thinks you're a better man than me, give it your best shot, because I'm going to keep this for a long, long time.
The United States Heavyweight Champion, Magnum TA fans, talking about champions. We got a couple of them about to enter the ring. Let's go to the ring.
Yeah, it's the Rock and Roll Express, hence the
Magnum.
Whoa, the girls are going crazy.
Quite long. I find myself just doing that, or it was, and I thought that's the way I had to get rid of it. I was quite self-conscious. I look like a knobhead, even more so. So Magnum was right. He's the new US champion. He holds the belt until he loses the best of 7 series against Nikita Koloff in August, which should have teed him up to win the world title. And the Rock and Roll have just beaten the Russians to become new world tag team champions.
Yeah.
What a
Magnum's
time.
got a new he's got a renewed vigor about him, you know. Now that he's holding that belt, seems like a new man. He's got a little bit of extra pep in his step, right?
A little bit of sizzle on that steak, Daddy.
Who's this vast man in the corner?
You know what? I've got it on mute, and I've got no idea. He looks like if Hollywood ever films like Lucha Libre films,
Yeah.
And then like a generic guy in a mask who wrestles.
El Generico.
Hey!
I miss him.
Yeah, where's he been?
El
He's just
Generico.
disappeared for years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, let's get it done. Double drop kick, and that gets it done.
Guys.
Quick
What a
paycheck.
maneuver by the Rock and Roll Express.
It's
And
just so funny. Like the finishers were just so quick back then too. It was just like nothing spectacular.
It's weird, like if you look at the evolution of tag team. So the Rock and Roll Express came along here, and then the Rockers, or originally the Midnight Rockers, with the Midnight Express, their arch enemies, and obviously the Rock and Roll Express put together, which was Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look, the Young Bucks are basically like the Rockers, just a generation on. Oh, it's Tony.
Prettier and better.
How does Tony look better with age?
And another nature
That's
boy.
Tully Blanchard.
And Johnny Weaver, there you
Oh,
see.
it's
Buddy
Landell.
Yeah.
Not you, Buddy Landell, the other nature
It's
boy.
The other
another nature boy.
It's so weird. If you look at the time warp, so at least that promo by Flair was fucking outstanding, by the way, but of course it was. Buddy Landell won the title at Starrcade, and he was he's managed by JJ Dillon. Buddy Landell gets sacked, and then about 2-3 weeks of this, he had a bit of a drug problem.
Right.
Would miss shows, and then JJ got put with Tully, who was friends with Ric Flair, the Andersons of Flair, and the four of them kind of then just become gelled in around late December, early January. But if it wasn't for him being fired, the Horsemen never really would have been a thing, which is how all these things work out.
Butterfly effect, huh?
Destiny.
That promo by Flair was just outstanding. Big boy. he do the same. And he said the same to Lex Luger as well. Hey, big man, you may have the best physique in the world, but what's up there? Ain't gonna beat me. Plus, all these clips and stuff says, "My God, they had some good blood in the '80s, didn't they?" And just the idea that this is syndicated TV. He turns up in a 3-piece suit, not a hair out of place.
Not a hair out of place. I literally was gonna say that when I saw him.
To cut a 3-minute promo for local TV. Man, he did.
Talking about local TV was huge back then.
It was.
They didn't have what we have now. They had like
It was.
8 channels, maybe.
But he didn't have to be there.
No.
Just love the business.
Yeah, he loved the business, but he loved the attention and
Quick
he
little
Put that
Starrcade
spotlight
thing.
on me.
yeah, he needed to be there.
So this is a look back at Starrcade. This is presumably to sell the VHS put out by Turner and Home Entertainment.
Can we talk about the ref's pants though?
The whole outfit.
We talk about the ref's outfit. I mean,
The whole outfit, but it's a lot.
Walter White want to be over here.
I didn't know that like bell-bottom pants were like in for men well into the 80s like that.
so the opening match on Starrcade '85 was Manny Fernandez against Abdullah the Butcher in a Texas death match. They both bled buckets, and was it someone on a pole match?
Yeah.
Was this before or after Abdullah had hep and was spreading it around liberally?
I think he hadn't become well known that yet. Oh no, there you go. It was some Mexican death match on a pole or something. And then you got the whatever it was, Texas. We watched the build, didn't we, JJ? Was it the bull rope match? I think.
Yeah.
Another one under the stewardship of JJ. I can't say JJ Dillon's about trying to do it like Dusty Rhodes.
Too many JJs, huh?
Not enough JJs.
We need one more to get our own horseman. Yeah, exactly.
JJ, did you ever think of making Seb a JJ?
No,
A JJJ?
because he's got a double-barreled surname anyway. So like it would be a JJB, which
got it.
Which was an old sports song back in about 50 years ago. Yeah.
Not even, JJB Sports.
Well, that's what people thought my name was. Because all my socials are like JJM Sports, which is my business when I was at uni. Oh, is that because of JJB Sports? No. You think you're really free, don't you? Not really. So we've got the Andersons here again. So I think that's Wahoo McDaniel, and as you look at the blood on the canvas as well. Oh wow, he's going to slap the shit out of Ollie. Yeah.
Ooh.
It's so weird as well in terms of like how out of date these things are. You watch any of the stuff from, we'll get to it next year, the summer of '86, when Wahoo comes out, all the crowd, I won't make the noises, all the crowd are doing that and making the noises. Yeah. And Tony Giovanni's watching it back going, yeah, that didn't age well.
That's going on the list of things you'd never see today.
Yeah. And this is Miss Atlanta Lively. Okay. I don't know whether that would quite make the next series of Rui Paul, but
Rui Paul.
Yeah, that's what I call it.
Are you a fan?
I don't watch it. The missus is obsessed with it.
Yeah, so is mine.
I'm generally watching wrestling in another room, so you know what I mean. Whenever floats your boat. I doubt she'd be caught dead watching Starcade. She'd much rather be watching.
Highly unlikely.
Look at this entrance by the Nage. I think that was from what he said as well, that was the most expensive rope he'd ever. I think this, or maybe '86 at the time.
Up until that point.
But until that point, yeah, he paid that one cost 14,000.
40,000.
14,000. This is 1985.
Oh, 1-4.
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh, you had me when you said. I thought you said 40
grand. No, the big gold belt cost 40 grand.
Right.
Diamonds, jewels, or rubies. By the way, I uploaded. If anyone out there who's watching, subscribe to our YouTube channel at Mainly Wrestling. I uploaded a video a couple of days ago. Conan beating Chris Jericho to become World Television Champion on this date in 1998. The crowd are unreal for Conan. The Wolfpack is so over.
K-Dog.
I wasn't really watching like WCW late 98, but my God, the crowd are going bananas.
What did I just say? They were, listen, you had the grown men
What's
here,
the style you called it?
the bandanas, huh?
What's the style you call it?
Conan style at that time? Oh, he was Cholo.
Cholo, that's the one, yeah.
Yes. You always forget.
Cholo. It sounds like, in my head, I'm thinking culo, which is Spanish for bum, and churros.
Culo, yeah, I knew it wasn't culo, but that was the word I had in my head.
Yeah, exactly. I have to use that a lot in the old hospital up the road.
Yeah, but they were like, so, I mean, at that time, like that was like really, really cool.
There's a video, yeah, of him in some car with all the guys just cruising on like it's a scene from GTA. But that stuff was, that shit was over. Like after he won as well, DDP, Luger, Sting, Nash all in the ring. And this is like Chattanooga, Tennessee. It doesn't strike me as a Cholo hotbed. Would that be fair, Lissy?
Yeah, I concur.
Right?
Yeah, but I mean, I think but they were just overall, like they were just so cool. Like think about it, like the Wolfpack, just their music was so cool, like everything.
Again, just stars.
I mean, you don't have to be a fan. You don't have to like be that kind of person to enjoy that kind of person, right? Like, everyone enjoyed Eddie riding out in the lowrider.
True.
It didn't matter if you'd ever driven a lowrider or not. You're just like, yeah, this guy's got it.
It was more the fact from watching the entire show, he got, I'd say, top 3 receptions as opposed to like some much perceived bigger star. That's all. But yeah, he was over.
Why the hell do they put these two together? Like, it's just the two of them can't piece things together to cut a promo together.
Yeah, but they both seem to from their geography class, so probably works.
That's Sam Houston. He was the protege of Dusty Rhodes. He would end up marrying in real life Nicola Roberts, who was Baby Doll, who was the first Tully's valet and then Dusty. And that got him a lot of heat backstage because he wasn't really a big star, whereas his missus is there with Dusty and then Tully and then the Horseman. And he was trying to use her to weasel in, so they just got rid of him. And again, Terry Taylor, if you listen to anyone who's been in the business, Terry Taylor's like a big deal behind the scenes at NXT now. But one of those people that was his own worst, a bit like myself in big businesses, couldn't learn to keep his mouth shut. Does love a beige suit, as Terry Taylor as well.
I'm not a fan of these glasses. Not working for me, dog.
You've got to be a certain level of charisma to get away with a look like that.
Yeah.
I look at that and I think that would look so much better on Flair.
Yeah.
Oh, instantly.
It's not a dissimilar look, though, is it? I mean, he's clearly trying to channel a little bit of Rick.
But the problem is, again, once you've seen Buddy lying down, you've seen him, you've seen Flair in between, you go, yeah, you're both just inferior versions.
Yeah.
It's like if I'd have tried to come onto this broadcast, JJ, with the beard I was growing, and then compared to yourself, I'm like, well, you just look shit, Jack. So why are you even bothering?
This is why I don't curl my hair anymore.
With the beard I was growing.
Curly hair.
Barely.
All these nice folks and y'all out there have been cheering me on, and I really appreciate it.
It just has to stop. It's just too much every week.
I think this is Billy Jack Haynes. I mean, look, who was one of the big stars in Don Owens, Portland wrestlers in, which made Roddy Piper a star in the 80s.
How long is this going to go?
This
1 minute?
will go 3 minutes max, I think. There's quite the size difference and the look at the difference in tan. You always know a big star by look how better his tan is.
Sheamus disagrees.
Oh, Sheamus vehemently disagrees.
Do you know, if you listen to Cornette's podcast, Cornette hates Sheamus because of his tan. I don't get it. He doesn't understand that's his gimmick.
Mm.
Look at him, pasty my God. It's like he's been riding this cell for 10 years, motherfucker.
Yeah, but like, think about this. If Sheamus, who's coming across as this, big Irish superstar, if he came out with a friggin' tan, you'd be like, what? Come again? It doesn't go with him.
Sure.
He needs to have his natural skin tone, no matter how pale it is.
Yeah, so
it makes
for example,
him stand out, right?
What's that, JJ?
It makes him stand out. Like,
You need
does.
that differentiates yourself from the rest, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
what I didn't like was the nose ring. That could have went, but otherwise, he can keep going.
The doctors are telling us that like young George might need a blood transfusion because he wasn't happy with his skin tone. I said, have you seen his mum? Like, no offense, but she's a tasty ginger Irish girl. I don't exactly have a tan. And Lissy was discussing about it. And like he's already turning ginger, the poor child.
There's nothing wrong with that.
He's when he's on me, my chest is the same colours.
He didn't stand a chance. Come on.
I mean, without jeans, he was never going to be like. And is that? Oh, this is the Russians attacking Paul Ellering, manager of the Road Warriors.
It's like the Japanese attire for me. Paul
I was confused by the robe. Yeah, that was like
right.
I was going to say something out like you'd see from Del Boy, but that's a bit different.
This is like the only crossover that we're going to get from the last episode that we recorded of Monday Night Raw from 1998. A little bit of Road Warriors knocking about.
Good connection.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, the Road Warriors were just around forever. I mean, it was obviously unfortunate that Hawk had his issues and then passed away super early, but God, I mean, talk about a career longevity. I mean, you couldn't have done it better.
Yeah.
When you look at them, you'd probably say 85, 86, 87. They're probably in their peak around what I'd say their late 20s, probably 30. So when you get to 98, 99, they're like early 40s.
Yeah, they're on the other side. I mean, I think for me, obviously, I don't recall this time completely, but early 90s when they were in WWF, like that was just, they were like at the height of their popularity. Like they would blow the roof off the place.
Yeah, I mean, I always thought, again, as a small child, watching, God, those shoulder pads are so cool. Without any real reason behind it, just they look amazing.
Yeah.
Ivan Koloff, look again, JJ. That's another one for your forehead collectors.
Disgrace of a forehead. Oh.
Yeah.
Now we've got some big boys. Ole Anderson, Arn Anderson.
I love that Tommy was calling him Mr. Anderson. It was so cute, so formal.
Mr. Anderson and Mr. Rhodes.
Mr. Flair.
He was very excited. He was throwing champagne around, as he should. He'd just become world champion. But he hadn't.
There's biggest crusher, biggest Nikita.
There's a good chance that Ole
made just a bit of a little more and I spoke about getting in a bunkhouse stampede over the top.
Ole gets so overlooked as a
very
member of the
interesting
Horsemen.
things that can happen in this.
In his twilight years here. And he was replaced within about a year. But he was missing for about 6 months. Dusty and the Road Warriors would break Ole's leg in January in the Omni, and then he'd return 5 months later and set up the Great American Bash.
Catch the, I think it was last week on Dynamite, Tully saying to Arn, I've still got one more in me.
Was that the thing with Arn?
Yeah.
That was brilliant. And then they just turned though, is it Jose the Goober? This is Horseman business.
Yeah.
They're so cute.
Do you think they'll ever do it? Just like have a little pay-per-view match? I can't imagine they will.
I could see them maybe doing a bit like they did with FTR, where they do a 6-man, so that it's like very limited.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I've tried to avoid spoilers today, and I've still seen like Cody's back was completely.
No. I haven't watched it yet.
Cody's back was a picture. That's all I'll say. But I've not seen what happened.
All I've seen so far is the Bryan Danielson match and the CM Punk match. So yeah, first half an hour of the show.
The match was quite flat. I was disappointed by that.
Yeah, I mean, Moriarty looked good. Great settee. But yeah, the story really is MJF, isn't it? So
Danielson's just phenomenal. I bowl myself saying it every week, but you just think, oh,
you can't stop. You can't stop saying it if you tried.
The word is, I am gushing for the man.
He's the best wrestler.
You are a coward, Hangman.
Yeah, he's the best wrestler in the world right now. When you take in-ring skills and mic skills, best wrestler in the world right now.
He did really good.
It doesn't matter if he's a heel; he can do it all.
Go back and listen to it. He does a good interview with Busted Open for about half an hour in the week, and he was talking about he said, "Oh, people said I couldn't talk." He goes, "Oh, no, now you can." He goes, "There's no reason." He goes, "You can improve anything in life if you want to." And he said someone like Dante Martin, like brilliant wrestler. He's not very good at promos, but he can improve that if he wants to.
He's also 12 years old. Like,
yeah, you can't forget that.
But Danielson's saying, "Oh my God, now you can talk." Like you've got lucky that it's just happened to you. He goes, "No. I've done a lot of work because if you want to improve anything in life, you can improve anything in life. It's very simple. Life is very straightforward." He went very philosophical about it. Yeah.
Look at Jungle Boy. Like everyone has said, like, yeah, great wrestler, but can't talk. But give him he's had a couple of years now being, on TV week in, week out. And I think he can actually cut a promo now, and he's still obviously improving. He's still very, very young. Like,
well, who was it a couple weeks ago that called him out for stumbling through a promo? I forget who. Help me remember.
Sounds like something Adam Cole.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think he's definitely improved. But again, he's super early in his career. He's so young. But I think we have like unrealistic expectations sometimes because we have so much talent and so many people that can cut like amazing promos around them. And then I think it just makes them look that much worse that they can't because there's such top tier talent around them, right? Let's be fair, guys.
Oh, big knee.
And I think the other thing is like they do a good job of matching people up well.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so Dante can't speak too well, but they've hooked him up with Leo, who is a phenomenal talker. And, you know, he's be interesting to see where this tag thing goes. But yeah, they're giving him the chance to just showcase his talents in the ring, put him with someone who can teach him a thing or two. Cool.
Yeah.
Too bad, dudes. The Andersons get the job done. 31:05 or 6 or 7 or 8 if you're watching along with us back home. That's the national tag team champions, Arn and Ole Anderson. They'd be ready for a big year in 1986.
The fact that you are incapable of saying their names without the dusty voice is hilarious.
Remember, I've got a thread on Twitter somewhere which is just Dusty saying people's names. And this is Tully Blanchard. No, that's the actual thread. Nobody said the name Tully Blanchard better than the Dream. Let's track this because this is his perfect 10.
Looking as only as good as she
those
can
words never, ever came across my mouth, across my lips, around my teeth.
That's a lot of
never once. In that match at Starrcade 85, The Gathering,
he never
did
said
the words I quit come out of my mouth.
Yes.
But the fact remains, the bottom line is, Magnum TA, through some grace of God and some help from somebody else, is the United States Heavyweight Champion. I'm not going to say I should be the champion. I'm not going to say I should be the U.S. champion because he's got the belt. He's sleeping with it at night. But Magnum TA, I didn't want the I Quit match.
He didn't.
I was out front with
that.
The National Wrestling Alliance, Jim Crockett Promotions, and you and some money from your friends, brother, got you into that. Got me into it. And it was vicious, and it was brutal, and it was awesome, and it's going to be something that people are going to be telling their grandkids and their kids' kids and their kids' kids about. The night in the Greensboro Coliseum, The Gathering. Well, I tell you what, I'm very fortunate to still have two eyes. But Magnum TA, someday down the road, someday, it might be next week, it might be 2 weeks, might be 2 months, next year, you're going to have to get back in that ring with Tully Blanchard in a wrestling match. Just what it says on that silver belt you're carrying around your waist. Wrestling. Not a I Quit, not any kind of come as you are, wrestling match, because that's where I excel. Tully Blanchard, the wrestler. And Magnum TA, I beat you once, and I'll guarantee you, just as good as I'm standing here looking at you, the next time I get in the ring, I'll be the U.S. champion again.
So if you've noticed, I was going to track it. Right, okay, I'm sorry. We can't not track this.
Straight in with Dusty.
Bring it back.
Be now.
Wow.
You could just narrate my life. Like, what a voice.
And then the point you made then about the AEW promos, there are levels. And you've seen Flair and Dusty talk here. And to a lesser extent, Tully. But then when you've got Terry Taylor and Paul Jones and like, just don't even bother because you have to look less than by default. Wow, exactly. Like that. That was so clever as a promo as well as actually being emotive. And said, look, I tried, put everything for this match, and I lost. And I'm still like hobbling around at home, and I've still got to look after my kids. So it will never be over for that record. And he alludes to the fact his boot has got a steel cap, which you would then injure Ole Anderson 6-7 weeks later. Oh, it used to be so much better. He really did. I can't work out who this is. Oh, that's Manny Fernandez, the Raging Bull.
And Tony Zane. What do you think we got left on this? Are we going to have time to finish this up?
37-14. Is this this can't be the main event, surely. There you go. There's we've got a Jim Cornette promo and a Road Warriors match and a promo to come. Do you want to just skip this? Let's see how we're doing for time.
Yeah, let's jump ahead to the Jim Cornette, I think.
Let's go.
Let's go straight to Jimmy Cornette. Oh, that was 2 minutes, right? Okay.
The James E. You know, these matches.
James E. Cornette has been in the promotion 6 months at this stage, and he's 24, maybe just turned 25 years old.
Just a baby.
We go to 38-45.
Good.
Miss Atlanta Lively, you're a big street woman. Well, let me tell you something, Jimmy Vaya. Do you realize how much it has cost me in the past couple weeks? I have hired private investigators. I have been following Miss Atlanta Lively all over the place. And before it's over with, if I have to spend every penny that the Cornette family possesses, Miss Atlanta Lively, we're going to expose you for whatever it is that you are. I'm not sure what, but we're going to find out. And we're going to see just exactly what Jimmy Valiant is trying to pull. But isn't it sweet, Bob Caudle? Isn't it heartwarming to know that all's right with the world, the stars are in the heavens, and the Rock and Roll Express are once again the World Tag Team Champions? That just tickles me pink. It warms the cockles of my heart. Because let me tell you something, Rock and Roll Express no longer can you deny the Midnight Express. No longer can you go around saying, well, first we got to get the belts back. Well, first we got to do our laundry. First we got to do something else. What you got to do, and sooner or later you're going to get forced into it, is you got to get in the ring with the team that can beat you. The only team that can beat you. Loverboy Dennis and beautiful Bobby the Midnight Express. You know it. That's why you've been forestalling it for as long as possible. But it's going to come down to it, Bob Caudle. Public pressure, my pressure, whatever. Sooner or later, Rock and Roll, you're going to have to get in the ring and settle things with the Midnight Express, and all this time. You know, I'm a hard person to ignore, Bob Caudle. Would you agree with that?
Well, I agree with that 100%.
Would you agree that when the Midnight Express get in the wrestling ring, strange things happen and they're almost impossible to overlook?
I think that's fair.
Would you agree with that?
Strange things do happen.
Then how come it's all real funny that the Rock and Roll Express has wrestled every tag team on God's green earth except the Midnight Express? They're all anxious to put the belts up against every comer, every challenger except the Midnight Express. Well, Rock and Roll Express, Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson, I'm going to stand out here for as long as it takes. And I'm going to call you punks and yellow dogs and cowards and everything that you are. And then finally, you're going to get an attack of guts or an attack of stupidity, and you're going to get in the ring with the Midnight Express.
And let's go to the ring. Well, we're going to skip
The Russian Ivan Koloff right here. Ivan, you got to be out here because of the fact that we're expecting none other than the Road Warrior. The ring as we await the entrance now of the Road Warrior.
Because I hate the fact they get rid of this theme tune. But we're at 42-17, 42-18, 42-19. The Road Warriors are going to come out and beat holy bejesus out of two very unfortunate young men.
Nothing new.
Jim Cornette, honestly, how old do you say was there? Like 24?
I think he was 24, maybe just turned 25.
I mean, absolute talent on the mic. So you can see why he had as long of a career as he did as a mouthpiece.
Gift of the gab,
It was just a bit of a shame that kind of, I feel like the current sort of popular wrestling industry has just left him behind a little bit, hasn't it? He just doesn't really
He's been putting over. I subscribe to his podcast. He's been putting AEW over huge the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Okay.
He loved Danielson. He thinks Punk MJF and Punk Kingston was phenomenal. He says, look, I don't care about that, and he hates. He tried watching Survivor Series and said it was painful.
Do you still hate the Young Bucks?
Yeah, and Omega.
But this is the thing as well, like
Twinkle Toes McFinger Bang, as he calls him.
I mean, I don't watch 2 hours of Dynamite and constantly go, I love this, I love this, I love this, I love this.
Yeah,
you like some things, you dislike some things, you think some things or whatever. So yeah, it's all a mixed taste.
The good with the bad, right?
Yeah. And if you can appeal to someone like Cornette and, you know, other wrestling fans, then you're doing something right. But not everything to everyone. Like what you like.
Absolutely. But yeah, he said that the Punk, first of all, the Punk Kingston, then they go Punk MJF were the two best things he's seen on North America. Well, he didn't say North American. I think that was Meltzer. Best thing on TV in 20 years. And it's hard to disagree. I've gone back and watched that, I think, 3 times, Punk and MJF. I just think it's... The one-line is just phenomenal. It was just the crowd reaction when he says, "You're just a less famous Miz."
It was a Miz line, yeah, for me.
Big burn, big burn. Yeah, but then actually, then it's actually amusing to see how like the Miz, they're like, I'm sure, I don't know if he was scheduled to come back, but they're like, get back on TV. Like it actually like it allowed for that little build, which was nice too.
Yeah, but and MJF saw it like, fuck you say? And you could have said that like, I'm gonna fuck yeah. You're just a less famous Miz. How dare you?
MJF's like facial expressions are almost as good as when he's on the other side of it and talking, because he doesn't like oversell it. It is like, it feels so genuine,
Definitely.
MJF, who will be 26 in March still, again, absolute prodigy. Again, probably a big Cornette ilk. So we've seen the Rhodes Warriors demolish these 2 young men. That was an unbelievable clothesline.
Hell of a clothesline.
Yeah.
That guy's earned his $20.
You can count a lot more.
Wait, was it 20 back then? I don't even think it was 20.
A nice bracket because we got...
Possessed. Well, we're a lot more possessed than she ever was. And we're not possessed with a devil. We're possessed on getting even with the Koloffs. Right. We got one thing on our mind.
How bad's that tattoo by Hulk? I've never noticed
have to deal with the Road Warriors. And one of the worst things to deal with in this world.
It's really
Tell
just
him, big man. Tell you something, Koloffs. Koloffs. You did something to our manager here. He ain't wearing this, and he's hurting. And when we get you in the stinking ring, you're not going to only pay for what you did to us, but you're going to pay what you did to our manager.
That's right. You don't have to be able to split atoms to figure this one out. All you have to do is sign the dotted line, Koloffs. Sign the dotted line and walk the Legion of Doom's stairway to oblivion, gentlemen, because that's where you're going to go. These 2 men are going to take you, gentlemen, and make an example out of the way your people should treat you. Paul Ellering and the Road Warriors fans, and you heard.
So yeah, we've seen some the good, bad, and the ugly there in terms of, again, the 2 stars that stand out immediately: Dusty Rhodes and Ric Flair, and then you've got Jim Cornette and Tully Blanchard, and it all would be prominent in 1986, which would be the greatest year in the history of Jim Crockett Promotions, both in terms of adulation and then likewise at the gate. Lissy, what do you reckon? Are we going to do more 1986 in 2022?
You said we want to see more. I mean, I always want to see more. Do you want
to?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always game to see more, especially, I mean, episodes like this. I mean, you have Ric Flair come on, give us a couple minutes of his time. Same thing with Dusty. They don't have to wrestle. They can just talk. If there's more of the Road Warriors, I'm a big fan of tag team wrestling, so always ready to see that.
I mean, I don't think we saw that much of a tag team. Same with the Andersons. You've got stars and you don't have stars, but I know what you mean. Like, we'd love to see them in a proper competitive. Senior producer Virgil Reynolds, often known as the American Dream, that's kayfabe, if you will. the greatest music of all time. JJ, are you happy with it? Are you getting into this era?
Of course, I'm enjoying it. It's nice to be like, I recognize this guy who I just had no idea who he was 3 months ago before we started doing this. And yeah, I'm interested to see kind of how they start building again now, sort of a new kind of pay-per-view cycle. I guess it's quite a few months before we're going to have something else. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. We've obviously had to build up to Starrcade. Now, yeah, a bit of a reset button, like we were saying, and see how they go from here, really.
Yeah, that was December the 14th. There's 2, I think I've watched them before. December the 21st, 85. And then there's a really good episode, 28th of December, which has an all-time promo from Flair. So I'm sure we'll knock them out before the end of the year. Lissy, anything else that you want to add before we wrap up today? I know we're very pressed for time. We're very thankful for your presence, ultimately.
No. Thank you.
I feel like me and JJ should do some form of like Anna J and Tia Conte thing just to JJ's leave a brother hanging. That's fine. For JJ, I'm JJ. She's Lissy Almeida. That was episode 9. A bit late now, JJ, of the NWA Flashback. We'll be back next week for episode 10 where we go down further into Jim Crockett Promotions. Bye bye from them and bye bye from me. Ta-ra!
Peace.